Hello. So what we're going to do for this example is a quick linear regression analysis in Excel. We're going to make a scatter plot and find the equation of the trend line. So first thing is we have to arrange our data appropriately. Whatever we want to predict needs to go in the rightmost column, and whatever we want to make the prediction from goes in the leftmost column. If we don't start this way, then our scatter plot will be incorrect, our equation will be backwards, and so the scatter plot default is always that the left column goes on the horizontal. That's our variable we know first. And the second column is going to be the variable we want to predict. So when you get an appraisal value for your house, you haven't sold it yet, and you want to be able to predict the selling price. So appraisal is what we know first, and then selling price is what we want to know from that data. So what we're going to do is we're going to first highlight the two columns, and then we're going to select recommended charts. Now typically the scatter plot will come up as one of the options when you have two columns of data like this. So we're just going to go ahead and click OK. We want to have a good layout for our graph. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Quick Layout. And one of these layouts has all of the things in it that we need. It has the trend line and it has axis labels, which is this one. So I'm going to select that one just to start with. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to label our axes. And we want to be able to see what the variables mean if we come back to this a year from now and we don't remember what it was supposed to be. We're also going to fix our title. Always have a title and axis labels. Now, I do have a lot of blank space here, so what I'm going to do, if you double click on the axes, you should get a dialog box that opens up. It doesn't look like there's any data less than about 200,000. And same thing for the other variable. See, no data less than 200,000. So if we double click again, we get the axis options for the other box, and we can fill the screen with our scatter plot. Now I'm going to move the equation off to the side here so it's easier to read. Now, if you don't want to use the quick layout options, you can go to the Add Chart Elements button, add axis labels yourself, and select the trend line. Now, if you go to more options for the trend line, you have other things that you can do. So you could consider, maybe my graph is not a straight line. This looks like a pretty straight line to me. But if your data is curved in some fashion, you can select a different kind of regression equation to use. You could also say, well, this negative $28,000 in our equation doesn't make a lot of sense. I could set the intercept for my trend line to be 0. And in fact, if I do that now, I will get a separate equation, which I'll put down here. So this would be the regression equation if I insisted that if my house is appraised for $0, it actually sells for $0. Whereas this equation suggests that my house would have to actually be worth about $28,000 before I could even sell it for 0. So that maybe doesn't make as much sense. Maybe this one makes more sense intuitively to us. Either way, we are able to get a regression equation, this one without a constant, this one with a constant, and the R-squared valued in each case is a measure of how good the relationship is between appraisal value and selling price. So you may recall that the closer it is to 1, the tighter the fit, the better the relationship. And so this one's pretty high.